Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin with a truth most people ignore. You don't need everything to begin. You just need something, and you already have it. We live in a world where people are constantly waiting for the right time, the right connection, the perfect setup. They say, if only I had more money, more support, more experience, I would start. But here's what they don't understand. Life doesn't reward those who wait. It rewards those who move with what they already have. Right now, you see, I wasn't the smartest person in the room. I didn't have a big bank account. I didn't have a powerful network. I didn't even have complete clarity. But I had a decision to start. I had the courage to take one small step, even if I didn't know what the 10th step looked like. And that's where everything changed. The world has fooled us into thinking that we need more before we act. More money, more degrees, more validation. But success is not built on abundance, it's built on resourcefulness. Not having everything, but using everything you have. Let me ask you something. What do you have right now? Maybe it's a phone with internet. Maybe it's 30 minutes at night when everyone else is asleep. Maybe it's a skill you've been ignoring. Maybe it's just a notebook and an idea that won't leave your mind. That's enough. That is more than enough to begin. Think about this. Steve Jobs started in a garage. I started with no background in technology, no money, no influence, just a vision and a voice. That's it. We didn't have it all, but we used what we had. We didn't wait to become great. We became great because we started. The truth is, most people don't fail because they lack resources. They fail because they lack the belief that what they have is enough. And so they wait, they delay, they plan endlessly but never act. And slowly, their dreams die in the waiting room of someday. But you don't have to live like that. What if I told you that your journey doesn't begin with perfect circumstances? It begins with the decision to move even when things are imperfect, especially when things are imperfect. Because here's something no one tells you: small beginnings lead to great outcomes. Every great business, every successful person, every powerful brand started with nothing but a spark, an idea, a step, a moment of courage. You don't need 10 steps, just take the first one, the first video, the first page, the first client, the first conversation, the first risk. And don't say you're not ready. No one ever is. You don't get ready and then begin. You begin and then you get ready. Look around. The tools are everywhere. Free platforms, online courses, communities, information. We are living in the most connected, most equipped generation in history, and yet most people are still stuck. Why? Because they're waiting for the feeling of readiness instead of building the habit of action. You know what's more important than talent? Momentum. You can't steer a parked car. You need to move. You need to build motion before you find direction. That's how purpose works. It shows up when you do. Don't look down on what you have. Don't underestimate your small beginning. Don't say it's just a blog or just a side hustle or just a rough draft on. No, that just might be the seed of something world-changing. Start ugly, start imperfect, start small. But start. Let me tell you something powerful. It's not the size of your tools that determines your future. It's the size of your grit, your courage, your willingness to show up without all the answers. And the people who win, they're not the ones with the most money or the most connections. They're the ones who said, this is what I've got. It may not be perfect, but I'm going to use it every single day. And when you do that, life starts to respond. People begin to notice. Opportunities open, not because you had it all figured out, but because you moved. You know what I've learned? The world doesn't need more planners. It needs more builders, less talkers, more doers. You don't need another motivational video to tell you what's possible. You need to start showing yourself what's possible. You don't need a better camera to start a YouTube channel. You don't need a fancy laptop to start freelancing. You don't need a perfect idea to start a business. You don't need to be famous to start helping people. You just need to use what you have, because that's how it works. You start with what's in your hand, and with time, you gain what's in your heart. But only if you start. You know what's worse than failing? Regretting that you never began. You'll fail, yes, things will break. You'll feel lost, but you'll also grow. You'll learn, you'll adapt, you'll improve. And one day you'll look back and say, I'm so glad I didn't wait. So if you're listening to this right now, I want you to stop and ask yourself, what can I do today with what I already have? Because that's the question that changes lives. That's the question that opens doors. That's the question that creates leaders. And here's the truth: 6 months of focused, humble, small actions can do more for your life than 6 years of waiting for the perfect moment. So stop scrolling, stop doubting, stop planning your 10th step. Take this, your voice, use your time, use your mind, use your story, use your pain, use your phone, use your skills, use your courage. because you already have enough to begin. Now the question is, will you build one real skill, become useful, not just busy, ladies and gentlemen? Let me tell you something that can change your life. The world doesn't pay you for how hard you work. It pays you for how useful you are. That's the truth most people miss. They confuse being busy with being valuable. They spend their days checking emails, making plans, jumping from task to task. But at the end of the day, nothing real is built and no real impact is made. You don't need to be everywhere. You don't need to know everything. You need to be exceptionally good at just one thing, one skill that solves a real problem for people, one skill that makes someone say, I need this person on my team. That's what makes you valuable. Look, when I started, I didn't know how to code. I didn't understand the internet. I wasn't a tech genius, but I knew how to communicate. I knew how to sell a vision. I had one skill and I sharpened it like a weapon. That one skill opened doors. That one skill built trust. That one skill helped me gather people smarter than me and lead them toward a dream. So let me ask you, what's your one skill? Don't say you don't have one. Everyone starts somewhere. It could be speaking, writing, designing, teaching, organizing, listening, fixing, leading, selling, something, anything. But it has to be real. It has to help people. The world doesn't care about how many certificates you have or how many books you've read. The world wants to know, can you solve my problem? Can you make my life better? Can you get results? And the only way to say yes to that is to learn a skill so well that your work speaks for itself. Not tomorrow, not next year, today. Because here's the problem, people don't commit. They chase 10 things at once. They jump from course to course, never mastering any of them. They want success without focus. They want rewards without repetition. But mastery doesn't work like that. Mastery is boring. Mastery is showing up every single day for 6 months, practicing the same thing until it becomes second nature. That's how you go from average to exceptional. And when you become exceptional, you don't chase opportunity. Opportunity chases you. You don't have to be famous to make money. You don't have to go viral to be respected. You just have to be useful. You have to be the person who can get something done consistently, clearly, with quality. That's it. That's the game. The truth is, people spend years chasing passion without realizing that passion follows skill, not the other way around. When you get good at something, when people thank you, when you start solving problems, when your work makes someone's life easier, that's when passion shows up. You don't fall in love with the dream, you fall in love with the progress. So stop waiting to feel inspired. Stop chasing 100 different ideas. Pick one skill, go deep, practice it daily, improve it weekly, deliver it clearly, make it useful. And do not, I repeat, do not underestimate how far one skill can take you. You want freedom, learn a skill that pays. You want confidence, learn a skill that solves. You want respect, learn a skill that helps. Your future is not in someone else's hands. It's in your ability, and your ability is built through intentional effort. The internet has made everything possible. You don't need to go to a fancy university. You have YouTube, you have Google, you have thousands of free resources. The difference is no longer access. The difference is discipline. Most people scroll, you can study. Most people complain, you can practice. Most people consume, you can create. The person who spends 30 minutes every day learning one real skill will be miles ahead in 6 months. Not because they had talent, but because they had consistency. So ask yourself today, what's the one skill that can change your life? Then start. No, not later, and don't stop until people say, I need you because of what you can do. That's what makes you useful. That's what makes you unstoppable. That's how you go from being busy to being brilliant. Work smart, not just hard. Protect your energy, ladies and gentlemen. Hard work is important, but if you don't protect your energy, you'll burn out before you ever break through. We've been told that working 20 hours a day, skipping sleep, ignoring rest, that's the price of success. But that's not hustle, that's self-destruction. Success is not about doing more, it's about doing the right things with clarity, focus, and energy. Think of yourself like a battery. You can only give what you have inside. If you keep draining without recharging, what happens? You crash. Your creativity dies, your judgment fades, your passion becomes pressure. I've seen it happen. People start with fire in their eyes. They work non-stop, no breaks, no balance, and after a few months, they collapse. Not because they were weak, but because they never paused. They never protected the very energy they needed to keep going. Here's the truth. Working hard doesn't mean being busy all the time. It means being effective. It means showing up sharp, focused, calm. And that only happens when you respect your energy like your most valuable asset. You don't win this game by working the longest hours. You win by lasting the longest. So ask yourself, are you using your time or just losing it? Are you truly working or just running in circles? Are you chasing exhaustion or chasing excellence? It's okay to say no. It's okay to rest. It's okay to step back and recharge. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. Protect your mornings, protect your focus, protect your peace, because the sharper your mind, the stronger your results. Success is not built by tired minds and heavy hearts. It's built by those who know when to push and when to pause. The smartest athletes don't train all day. They train, then recover, then come back stronger. You need to do the same. So today, make a decision. Don't just work harder, work smarter. Give your best hours to your most important work. Say no to distractions that steal your focus. Take care of your body, your mind, your energy. Because when you protect your energy, you protect your future. Create, don't just consume. Confidence comes from action. Ladies and gentlemen, let me give you one powerful truth. You will never build confidence by just thinking, planning, or watching others succeed. Confidence comes from creation, from doing, from building something, no matter how small, and saying, I made this. Today, most people spend hours scrolling, watching videos, reading quotes, listening to success stories. And don't get me wrong, information is good, inspiration is good, but consumption without creation is just a trap. You feel like you're moving, but you're stuck in the same place. The world doesn't need more spectators. It needs more builders, more doers, more people who turn ideas into action. You don't have to build $1 million company today. You don't need a big audience or fancy tools. You just need to start building. Build a blog, a website, a product, a solution, a message, something real, something you can point to and say, this didn't exist until I created it. When I started, I didn't have much, no big team, no investors, no roadmap, but I had a burning idea and the courage to bring it to life. Was it perfect? No. Did I fail? Many times. But each time I built something, I became stronger, smarter, clearer, and most importantly, more confident. You see, confidence is not a gift. It's a result, a reward for action. You don't wake up one day and feel ready. You build readiness by trying, failing, learning, and trying again. That's how belief is born, not in theory, but in execution. Stop saying, I'm not confident enough to start. Flip it. Say, I'm going to start so I become confident. Because every time you create something, whether it's a video, a business, a small service, or even just an idea written down and published, you prove to yourself that your thoughts matter, that your work has weight, that you are not just a consumer, you are a creator. And that's where your power lies. Yes, people might not clap. Yes, your first project might fail. Yes, no one may notice at first, but that's not the point. The point is that you notice, you see yourself differently. You begin to say, if I can do this, I can do more. And trust me, the world takes notice of builders. People respect creators, not because they're perfect, but because they show up, they try, they build. So stop waiting to feel confident. Don't wait for applause. Don't wait for permission. Take your idea and build something with your hands, your words, your mind. Let the world see that you don't just dream, you do. Because confidence isn't found in watching. It's earned through action, and the sooner you'll start building, the sooner you'll start believing. Reflect weekly, improve daily. The secret to long-term growth, ladies and gentlemen. Let me share something with you that most people never do. They never pause. They never stop to ask, is what I'm doing actually working? They keep running, working hard, staying busy, and one day they wake up tired, confused, and stuck, asking, why am I not growing? You see, growth doesn't come from just effort. It comes from adjusted effort. And the only way to adjust is through reflection. If you never stop to look back, you'll keep making the same mistakes. You'll keep wasting time on things that don't move you forward. You'll confuse motion with progress. That's why one of the most powerful habits you can build is weekly reflection. You don't need a fancy journal. You don't need a special app. You just need 30 quiet minutes. Sit down, no phone, no noise, just you and your truth. Ask yourself 3 questions. What did I do well this week? What did I do poorly? What can I do differently next week? That's it. Not emotional, not dramatic, just honest. Because real growth starts with honesty. When you stop lying to yourself about how you're spending your time, your energy, your focus, that's when the shift begins. You see, people overestimate what they can do in one day, but they underestimate what they can do in 6 months if they improve just 1% every single week. Imagine that, 26 weeks, 26 tiny adjustments, each one a little better than the last. Now pair that with daily action, not huge action, not life-changing moves, just small, consistent steps based on your weekly reflection. Maybe today you respond to emails more professionally. Tomorrow you speak up in a meeting. The day after you sleep 30 minutes earlier. These tiny shifts, they compound, but only if you notice them. That's why weekly reflection matters. It turns experience into insight. It turns mistakes into lessons. It turns a busy life into a better one. I know people who work hard every day and yet nothing changes. Why? Because they never ask why they're doing what they're doing. They just go through the motions, running fast in the wrong direction, and then they wonder why they're still stuck. But you have the power to do better, not by doing more, but by doing what matters. Weekly reflection gives you the map. Daily action is the walk, and over time that combination builds a different version of you, sharper, stronger, smarter, more intentional. Success is not about perfection, it's about adjustment. It's not about never falling, it's about noticing the fall quickly, standing up faster, and moving again with better steps. So don't wait till the end of the year to reflect. By then, it's too late. Do it every week. Make it a ritual, make it sacred. Give yourself 30 minutes to review your week, redirect your actions, and realign your goals. You'll be amazed how much clarity you get when you stop and actually think. Because in the end, it's not the people who work the hardest who grow the fastest. It's the people who think better, act smarter, and adjust quicker. And that comes from weekly reflection and daily improvement. Start this habit today. You don't need a mentor, you don't need a course, you don't need approval. You just need a moment of silence, a little courage to face yourself, and the discipline to act on what you learn. If you do that for the next 6 months, you will become unrecognizable, not because you changed overnight, but because you chose to grow every single week.